I'm going to share with you in this video how to get ZimmWriter up and running on your Mac. And actually, you can use this to get almost any Windows application running on a Mac. So it's not just limited to ZimmWriter, but we're going to use it just for ZimmWriter in this video. It's actually really easy to do, and it's completely free. Also, one of the ways people will use ZimmWriter on a Mac is using something called Parallels, which runs an entire Windows operating system on your Mac. But it is more resource intensive. It uses battery, and it's not as fast to get up and running with it. So what I'm going to show you is very battery efficient, very quick, and it's pretty cool. The only difference is magic commands won't work the same way that they work on a Windows PC. So if you want the entire functionality of ZimmWriter, then you'd have to use something like Parallels or a Windows PC. Otherwise, if you're just looking for the bulk writer, the SEO writer, the Penny Arcade, and the other non-keyboard, magic commands for ZimmWriter, then this would work perfectly for you. So first things first, what you want to do is go to my webpage, rankingtactics.com, and click on Secret Training. And you'll scroll down and you'll want to download ZimmWriter. Now, don't click this button. This button right here is to download it for people on a Windows computer. If you're running on a Mac, then you want to click on this link right here to download the alternate version, okay? So download this version right here. It will be a zip file, and that will get you the alternate version. The next thing you want to do is go to this website, getwhisky.app. So getwhisky.app. Just a little background. The program that we're going to use to run ZimmWriter on a Mac is called Wine, okay? And Wine it's more technical. It's cumbersome to install. You have to get to the terminal, the command line. If you're not good with technology, even for me, it's a little bit cumbersome to use. So this is something that makes doing all that very simple. So you'll download the latest version. So getwhisky.app, download the latest version. That's all we need right now from our browser, okay? Actually, I didn't click the download button. Let's download latest. There we go. Okay, so there's Whiskey. So we'll double click it to unzip it in the Whiskey app. Now, before I run it, I'm actually going to move this to my applications folder. Okay, so drag it and put it in my applications folder because I want it to appear in my Launchpad. There we go. Want it to be inside of here. Okay. It says Whiskey is downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? Yes. Now, you might not see this screen when you first start up Whiskey. It will actually ask you to download like this missing file that it requires like GHTK or GTKP. I don't know what it is. But there's some 400 megabyte file it's going to ask you to download. You'll just follow the prompts and download that. It might take a minute or two. But then when you finally download it, you'll come to this screen right here, okay? Now, the first thing we want to do is create a bottle. The bottle is like a container that's going to hold any programs that we want to install. So we'll create a bottle. And I'm going to call this bottle ZimmWriter. You can call the bottle whatever you want because you can have multiple bottles, but we'll call this ZimmWriter. And you don't need to configure any other settings. This is all fine. We'll click Create. Now, it's not going to allow you to do anything right now. It's thinking right now. And if you have a slower Mac, this might take longer. I'm on an M1 Pro. But if you have a faster Mac, this might go quicker. We'll wait for this little spinny thing to finish. All right. Now, there's a C drive that we can access. But before we do anything, we want to go back to our Mac folder and get our ZimmWriter. Okay, this is the ZimmWriter zip file that we downloaded. Okay. I'm going to double click to unzip it. There it is. Now what we want to do is go back to Whiskey, okay, and open our C drive. Okay, see this little link? We'll click it. So on this side, we have our C drive for Windows. That's where stuff's stored. And on this side, we have our Mac downloads folder, okay? So in our C drive, we'll click on Users. And you'll see this thing called Crossover. We'll click on that, and we'll look for the Downloads folder. Then what you want to do is take the ZimmWriter alternative version, okay, and drag it over to that C drive downloads folder. Okay, see how easy that was? Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, back to the Whiskey menu. We'll click Pin Program. Because in this bottle, any programs that we want to install, we're going to pin those executable files, okay? So we can more easily access them as opposed to like having to hunt them down inside of here and stuff, okay? So we'll click Pin Program, and we're going to pin ZimmWriter. So we'll put in ZimmWriter. We'll find where it's installed. Remember, it's in the Users folder. crossover folder, your downloads folder, and there's ZimmWriter. So we'll open it up, and we're going to pin this exe, so we just double click on it, okay? We click pin. Now you won't see it at first because you have to click the refresh button. There it is. Now check this out. All we have to do to run ZimmWriter, okay, is double click it. Now it might take a second to start up, and there it is. Now we'll have to go through the setup. So if you're doing this for the first time, you'll have to enter your API key from OpenAI, okay, and then you'll have to enter your ZimmWriter email and your ZimmWriter license key, okay. Now I'm not going to do that on camera. What I'm actually going to do is I store all of the ZimmWriter data for like your license and whatnot in something called a settings.ini file. So if you have an older version of ZimmWriter or you're migrating over from a PC version, you can find your settings.ini file in the ZimmWriter directory, okay? And then you can open up, I'll do this from scratch to show you. You go into your C drive in here, and you'll go into users, crossover, downloads, alternative version. We actually take our settings.ini and copy it into here. Okay, make sure ZimmWriter's not running when you do that. Okay. Again, I don't want you guys to get confused. What I just did is only for people that have a previous install of ZimmWriter that, for whatever reason, are setting this up fresh and don't want to have to go through the whole enter your OpenAI key and ZimmWriter license key and all that stuff. Okay. So now I can close all these windows. Don't need them anymore. And I can run ZimmWriter again. But before I do that, I want to close Whiskey to show you how you'd start ZimmWriter fresh. So we can go over here to Launchpad, okay, and we can open up Whiskey. And remember, it's in here now because we moved Whiskey to our applications folder. Just double click on that, and we go on the ZimmWriter bottle in case you have multiple bottles, and we open up ZimmWriter. So we're already set up now. So ZimmWriter, you can minimize this and you can run it as normal, okay? But, all right, one problem you're going to run into is where your output files are going to be stored, okay? So right now, the output files, let me show you, are going to be stored on that like C drive, which is hard to find and hard to access. It would be much better, in my opinion, to have your output folders, let's see here, stored inside of your Mac downloads folder. So in the Mac downloads folder, let's make an output directory for ZimmWriter. Let's make a folder called ZimmWriter _output. And then what we're going to do is we got to find that inside of here. So let's go set directory to save blogs. Now, what you want to look for is this / because this, like my computer and whatnot, this is your Windows computer. Okay, we don't want that. We want the folder from your Mac. Okay, so look for this little /, and then we'll scroll down to users, and you'll find your Mac user, and then you'll find your downloads folder. You'll find the directory we just created called ZimmWriter output, and we'll set that as our directory now, and we'll save the options. So I'll show you, let's write something really quick, how to wash a dog, and we'll make it 1H2, disable conclusions, and we'll start the writer. Okay, and I'll go to that folder. I'll show you how the output now will go into that folder on your Mac hard drive. Otherwise, like I said, it would be in like your C drive, which you can't really access inside of here. You can only access inside of the Whiskey app and then by clicking this button. So it's cumbersome. You don't want to do that. You'd rather probably have your output in the Mac downloads folder. Cool, there it is. So we have our little pop-up saying it's done, and there's our file right there inside of our Mac downloads folder. Now, the last thing I want to show you before I let you guys go off to the races is how to update, okay? So whenever I release a new update, you should not have to redo all those steps again. All you should have to do is click this update button. It will tell you when an update's available, and you'll click the update button. You might have to wait a second because it will download the update in the background. You just click it once, you'll wait a second, and then if there's an update available, you'll see this appear, and you'll click yes. And ZimmWriter will close, count to 5 in your head, so it updates in the background. And then when you double click to reopen it, you should be on the new version. I was on version 10, and now we are on version 10.001. That is the latest version of ZimmWriter. Again, everything should work, and all the output should go to that output folder that we created. Your magic commands won't work as expected. They're going to work differently inside of here. So using magic commands with Whiskey or whatnot is not really recommended if you want your magic commands to work. I'd either recommend using Parallels or get a Windows PC. Other than that, I hope this helped you get up and running with ZimmWriter on a Mac. If you have any questions, you can reach me in the Facebook group. Otherwise, good luck with your content generation, and I'll talk to you guys later.